Thank you very much, Dan, and a very good evening to you from the SB Stadium in Sandhurst, just down the road from Bracknell, home to Bracknell Town since the start of last season, and what a happy home it's been since they moved to this stadium. About 2,000 fans are here tonight. 300 or so have made the trip across from Suffolk, supporting Ipswich Town to give their players their full backing, but the vast majority are here giving the Robins their full support as they bid to get into the second round of the FA Cup. They've only reached the round one stage once before, and they lost to Lincoln City when they got to that round one stage back in November 2000. 4-0 was the defeat, and they're one of 6 7th-tier sides that made it to round one. Can they force a replay or even get into round two? Buxton, as you've heard, are awaiting the winners of this cup tie. The handshakes are just going on in front of us as the mascots of Bracknell, and there's plenty of them. I think there's one for each player, who are now breaking away and running back towards the clubhouse to our left-hand side. And now the players break away. Both teams will be in their first choice colours tonight. Ipswich have travelled in their usual blue shirts and socks with the white shorts. Bracknell will be in their red strip, the Robins. And the Bracknell players just surrounding the centre circle. Genoa Danassian just comes across near to our commentary position. We could get a ball in the mush tonight, David Connolly. We are very close to the action, aren't we? We are 2 rows back from the touchline, level with the 18-yard line at the clubhouse then.
Yeah, we're going to struggle with the flanks, but we'll worry about that.
Yeah, if anybody attacks down the right wing to the south end in this first half, it might be a bit of guesswork on our part as to who's in possession. You may have heard the faint strains of the last post being played by the bugler over on the far side of the SB Stadium, but he wasn't allowed a microphone, so it was a little faint, but I'm sure you would have picked it up wherever and however you're listening to Talksport 2 this Monday evening. Yes, it is Monday, and it's the final FA Cup tie of this first round. Buxton await the winners of this tie, and it will be the Robins of Bracknell in their red home strip, who look like they'll be kicking towards the clubhouse end, towards the left-hand side. It's a beautifully appointed stadium, isn't it, David Connolly? Trees around this stadium. It's
wonderful.
It's reminiscent to me of Hampton and Richmond, another club not too far from here on the west of London.
Absolutely, just nestled amongst all the trees, and the pitch is wonderful condition, a bit like Portman Road, and that'll be the challenge, I think, for Bracknell Town. The Ipswich will fancy their chances to play on this surface, but nonetheless, let's hope they give themselves a really good account of, and really give it a good go here, Bracknell.
A reminder of the lineups for Bracknell. Michael Ecott is their goalkeeper. Jack Dean, Anthony Cheshire, Daniel Bayliss and Ethan Burden in a back four. Gary Abisogan, George Knight, Ashley Lodge and Cameron English in midfield. Max Herbert and Jordan Esprit the front two. For Ipswich, Václav Hladký is the goalkeeper. Genoa Danassian, Richard Keogh and Cameron Burgess in the back three. Kane Vincent Young, Sam Morsey, Dominic Ball and Kyle Edwards the midfield four. Cameron Humphreys and Caden Jackson in support of Freddie Ladapo in attack. And it's Ipswich that will get us underway, kicking towards the south end here at this stadium, to the right-hand side, in their blue shirts and socks with the white shorts, here on Talksport 2, as we get the final cup tie underway. Referee Charles Breakspear blows his whistle, and we're underway, and Richard Keogh immediately launches the ball forward, looking to get Kyle Edwards away down the left-hand side, but it's run back strongly by Ashley Lodge for Bracknell. But Ipswich already working very hard at the edge of the penalty area. Ball's worked back to the goalkeeper, Michael Ecott. First time clearance up to halfway, but Keogh deals with that header very comfortably, and the ball's back with Cameron Burgess, one of 3 centre-halves for Ipswich tonight. Ball's tucked in field to Dominic Ball, once of QPR. Keogh, as we mentioned before kick-off, over 700 club appearances to his name. Vincent Young couldn't control the ball as it came across to this near touchline. Slightly disappeared from our line of sight as well, because, as I say, we're sat so low down. If anybody gets away down the right-hand side, we are going to struggle to see it. Good throw-in down the left-hand side. Cameron English, who scored 2 at Winchester City for Bracknell last week, gets a good header in. Drops in midfield, and Sam Morsey just lumps it downfield but the goalkeeper Ecott will come out to the edge of his area and clear his lines right-footed, but it goes over the head of Esprit and bounces all the way through to Václav Hladký, who's been playing cup football for Ipswich all season. Christian Walton being ever present in the league. 0-0 with a minute gone, David Conroy.
Yeah, and look at Ipswich, not afraid just to put it in behind as well, relieve the pressure, know that Bracknell might be coming onto them as well, so they're mixing their game up. Sam Morsey a couple of times has come to him, no chances, put it in behind and just trying to force Bracknell back.
Well, Vincent Young playing on the left-hand side rather than the right, and Edwards on the other side just for the moment. We'll see how that changes. Good header forward from Bracknell, trying to get Jordan Esprit in behind. But Dominic Ball being pressurised, but does well. Holds off 2 challenges and feeds it back to Burgess. Burgess trying to find Vincent Young on halfway. He's helped out by Edwards. And now Sam Morsey, the Egyptian captain of Ipswich, gives it back down that left-hand side to Kyle Edwards. Morsey again. Keogh calling for it at the edge of the centre circle. And slides it out to the right-hand side. And it's kept in play, but one back by Bracknell towards the halfway line. But Donassian's there to tidy up for Ipswich once again. Burgess drills the ball down the left-hand side, looking for Kyle Edwards, who's got behind his man. Gets to the dead ball line, looking to pull it back to an opponent. Oh, he went for goal, and he's fired it into the trees behind the goal. Goal kick to Bracknell Town. 2.5 gone on Talksport 2. It's 0-0.
Yeah, it's worth a try. I mean, it's good movement there from Edwards. Came short and then spanning behind, and lovely ball into the channel from Cameron Burgess. He's got that mask on, doesn't he? I think he's got something like 30 screws in his face. He had a challenge, didn't he? He had a bad challenge against Bristol Rovers, and he's been in a mask ever since.
Yeah, it's a bit Robocop, isn't it? Because it's shimmering in the early evening Berkshire floodlights here at the SB Stadium. We played 3 minutes on Talksport 2 in this FA Cup first round tie. Ecott's goal kick for Bracknell. Out towards this left-hand side. Up go the heads. It drops for Ipswich. They try and bring it forward. Ladapo's made a run through the middle, but Bracknell win it back, but they just lob it down the left-hand side, and it's comfortable for Hladký, the Ipswich keeper, in all grey this evening, to take the ball on his chest and guide it into the penalty area, and picks it up just before Jordan Esprit can get to him. Morsey picks it up from Hladký as it's rolled out to him at the edge of the area. Now it's picked up by Cameron Burgess. Just takes the game down to walking pace for a moment. Now drills the ball up to the halfway line, looking for Ladapo. But Bracknell win it back, and Jack Dean just clips it over the top, trying to get Esprit in behind. But the ball skips off the turf and goes behind for another goal kick. 0-0.
Yeah, too many of them done so far. When they win it back, Bracknell just spinning it in behind and no real care or weight on the pass. Just goes straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, and they've got to look after that ball when they do get it back, Bracknell.
It does look like a conventional back four for Ipswich, doesn't it? Donassian looks like he's playing as a conventional orthodox right back, and Vincent Young as a left back. As the ball's lobbed over the top, asking for Cameron English to give chase, putting Donassian under pressure. Does well, prevents the corner kick, but it is a throw to Bracknell, level with the edge of the Ipswich penalty area. Yeah,
that is a much better ball in behind. This time he's just taken a bit of pace of it, just left him behind, bounced once in the box, and that was decent.
Well, it's going to be Ashley Lodge is clearly the long throw specialist. He's been handed the ball right in front of our commentary position, level with the edge of the Ipswich penalty area. Going to lob it infield. Plenty in red shirts in the penalty area for Bracknell. Onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Keogh inevitably heads clear, comes back to Lodge, and he tries to send a diagonal ball back into the box, but everybody was way beyond the flight of that ball, and it just bounced through to Hladký. 0-0.
Yeah, what they might be working out as well, Bracknell, that Ipswich might be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a bit quicker, can jump a bit higher than the other sort of teams and players they've come up against.
Esprit fouled Dominic Ball. He thought he won the ball off him fairly and squarely, but Charles Breakspear said that's a foul. Free kick to Ipswich. 0-0. 5 gone.
And they spotted and played already. Richard Keogh trying to keep the tempo high. You would say Burgess and Keogh not under that much pressure, are they, at the back? Able to bring it out. I mean, he's worked his way to the halfway line here.
Yeah, Burgess has gone out to Vincent Young, but a sliding challenge from Anthony Cheshire. No nonsense there to put the ball out of play. So it's a throw to Ipswich. Just over the halfway line on the far side of the field. Vincent Young looks down the left-hand side, and a chance for Ladapo, who's got to the byline left-hand side, looking to pull it back to a teammate. Goes to around the penalty spot, but they can bring it away, Bracknell, if they can play the right ball. It's Cameron English trying to get away, but that's good defending by Donassian, and the ball goes out of play in the end for a throw-in to Bracknell Town. 0-0 on Talksport 2, 6 minutes gone in the FA Cup first round. Here's Cameron Burgess, just playing a short 1-2 with Sam Morsey inside his own half. Morsey Looks to his right for Dominic Ball. Still on the halfway line at the moment for Ipswich Town, who have a tremendous away record, the best away record in League One. 20 out of a possible 27 points on the road, and 20 goals as well on their travels. Now down the left-hand side, a chance for Ipswich to get the ball in the box. Vincent Young gets to the dead ball line, pulls it back, might drop for Danassian at the edge of the area, but Cameron English is there, and now Abisogan trying to get the better of Burgess and gets away from his man. Now a strong run from Gary Abisogan. Only a spree is ahead of him for Bracknell Town inside the Ipswich half. He tries to roll in a spree down the right-hand side of the box. The pass along the deck is overhit. Glad he can claim 0-0.
That's a lucky good centre pace there from Abisogan. Again, just that passing behind, too strong, ran straight through to the goalkeeper. I mean, Ipswich had a lot of joy down their left-hand side. You know, Ladapo, Edwards got in there a couple of times now, broke into the box.
Morsey out to Vincent Young on the left-hand side for Ipswich Town. We played 7 minutes on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. 108 places separate these two teams going into this cup tie. Now a long ball played down the left-hand side. It's a bit aimless that time from Ipswich, actually. And they can just let it drift behind Bracknell for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Bracknell, their campaign began against Harrow Borough 65 days ago. Scored 14 goals in 5 ties to get here, most of which have been against teams at the same level. But they did beat Banbury United from a level above to get to this stage. And it will be a goal kick for Michael Ecott to send downfield, looking for a spree, but Burgess, the man in the mask, heads it clear. Drops there for Cameron English. The ball ricochets away from him. Abisogan looks for Herbert, and Herbert slides the ball out to the right-hand side, asking Jack Dean, the right-back, to give chase. Tried to get a foot in, but that was good defending from Ipswich Town. Kyle Edwards finds Vincent Young, tries to turn away from Herbert. Just got dispossessed for a moment, but the ball didn't quite break for the red-shirted Robins, and Ipswich bring it clear. Morsey, inside his own half, just lays the ball back to Richard Keogh. Keogh will now try and drive the ball downfield as he gets up towards the halfway line. Looking up, sees a diagonal ball on down the left-hand side for Ladapo. Hits the ball against the chest of Anthony Cheshire. Cheshire couldn't keep the ball from going behind for Ipswich's first corner kick of the game. 0-0 with 8.5 gone on Talksport 2.
Yeah, just coming back to Bracknell. I mean, Ecott, one thing he has, the goalkeeper, he's got a really long kick. We saw that in the warm-up. He almost reached the penalty spot, well, the penalty area there for Ipswich. So he'll be a real threat when he does have the ball at his feet.
It actually went out for a throw-in rather than a corner on that far side. And it's sent back to Sam Morsey, who looks for Keogh on the halfway line. Brings the ball down under no pressure from any Bracknell players. He's got about 10 yards inside the Bracknell half to our right. Touched forward by Ball, and then a foul committed on Freddie Ladapo. I think in fact, it was Ladapo that was committed. Both players went in for the same ball, and Charles Breakspear sees that as a Bracknell free kick. So we're approaching the 10-minute mark, and I imagine that Jamie McClurg and Carl Withers, the joint manager, delighted to get. Managers like this tend to take games in little chunks, don't they, David Connolly?
Absolutely. And as we've just said, look at that from Ecott. I mean, okay, he's kicked it off the pitch, but one thing he does get is really good distance on his kicks, and this is now, well, it's almost in line with the 6-yard box that Ipswich have got to throw.
Yeah, in their own defensive third. The wind's getting up a little bit around here. You can see the trees all around this stadium blowing with fluttering around with a little bit more intensity in the last 20 minutes, half an hour or so. It is 0-0 on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Bracknell Town, who won promotion to the Southern League Premier Division last year after winning the Isthmian League South by 20 points from their nearest rivals. But they've since lost their manager to Weymouth and their top scorer to Dorking. In fact, he just won Player of the Month for October for Dorking. Seb Bowerman, that was, who was a brilliant striker for the promotion challenge last season for Bracknell Town. Ipswich have a goal kick, 0-0. Keogh chips the ball out to the left-hand side, and the wind takes hold of it, actually.
Yeah.
And it skipped away from Cameron Burgess, and Bracknell have a throw down by the corner flag.
Well,
right-hand side.
A player of his experience, Richard Keogh, he knows the conditions. It's pretty windy. He can see what the opposition goalkeeper can do in terms of putting it right on top of their penalty area, and he's tried to chip pass across the box. I mean, I don't know what he was doing there, Keogh.
Jack Dean with a long throw for Bracknell. They're looking for a flick on it. It's headed away by Keogh. Comes back out to the right-hand side. It's recycled into the near post. Away again by Keogh. Chested down. Max Herbert will pick it up on the right-hand side. Plays it into the edge of the area once again. Richard Keogh's there, clearing everything at the moment on his own for Ipswich Town. 0-0.
Well, he's trying to atone for his error there. Just need better ball in the box, don't they? Bracknell a couple of times have just lacked that little bit of quality to beat the first man.
Ball's gone into the Memorial Park behind that east stand opposite our commentary position. So Bracknell have a throw taken by Jack Dean, getting down the right hand side of the area. They're trying to win a corner here. Bracknell, they've got it at the clubhouse end. Encouragement for the Robins of non-league. They have a corner kick against Ipswich. 0-0.
That's good variation because they've had a long throw a few times and obviously they've held it in the air. That time they went low along the ground into feet in the box and they won a corner. This is decent. Obviously with the win now, not surprised. There's how many players in the 6-yard box here? Probably
20.
Yeah,
almost. Max Herbert going to take a left-footed in swinger from that far side. It really does bend. It's headed down, but there was a foul by Cheshire, spotted by Breakspear, and Ipswich get a free kick at the edge of their 6-yard box. But that's going to be the tactic. If they get any corners, put it right under the crossbar.
Yeah, just
Douglas Luiz for Aston Villa. 0-0.
Just don't make a foul. I mean, there's a cheap foul to give away, and that was a really good position. In swinging, very dangerous delivery.
Burgess will bring the ball forward for Ipswich Town at 0-0. 12.5 gone on Talksport 2. Vincent Young gives it back to Burgess, and his first time ball downfield holds up in that strengthening wind just a little bit. There's a player gone crashing into the advertising hoardings in a Bracknell shot. I think it's Anthony Cheshire, but he's all right, and it will end up being a free kick to Bracknell Town just shy of the halfway line. 0-0. Talksport 2. 13 gone in the FA Cup round 1. Buxton await the winners of this cup tie in round 2. So a free kick, and Ipswich holding a pretty high line, a good 35 yards out for this halfway line free kick. It holds up a bit in the air, swirling around, headed away by Cameron Humphreys, and now a chance for Caden Jackson to try and stretch his legs. But across comes Cheshire and puts the ball away, and then it's a good sliding challenge that almost broke for Max Herbert, but it's worked back to Fladke, the Ipswich keeper. Esprit closing down the space, forcing Fladke to chip it clear up to the halfway line, and Cheshire heads it down. His fellow centre-half and captain Daniel Bayliss looks out to the right-hand side. Looks like Vincent Young had a chunk of Abisogan's shirt, and referee Breakspear agrees. And it's a free kick to Bracknell Town. 0-0 on Talksport 2. 14 minutes gone.
Encouraging the last few minutes for Bracknell, putting the ball on the Ipswich back line, making them defend, and Abisogan good strength there to draw the foul.
So Ashley Lodge and Max Herbert are standing over it. Lodge, the number 8 for Bracknell. And again, Ipswich holding a high line. They're holding level with the edge of the D. Now they drop as Herbert runs over the ball. In it comes then from Lodge and misses out everybody. Bounces once and goes behind. Half-hearted claims for a penalty for what they thought was a push, but nothing given. Well, as down went Daniel Bayliss, or rather it wasn't Daniel Bayliss, it was George Knight that went down. Goal kick to Ipswich, 0-0.
Well, they did well there, Bracknell, because they dummied over the ball, and actually Ipswich backline just dropped far too easily. I mean, Richard Coe's got to squeeze them back up the pitch, because they started on the edge of the box. They ended up nearly on the 6-yard box before the ball was even taken.
Because there was a good 5 seconds between the dummy and the kick actually being struck.
Yeah.
Here is Keogh inside his own 18-yard box, clears the ball downfield. Humphreys tries to roll Knight, but he's fouled, and that's a free kick to Ipswich Town inside their own half. You're listening to Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. First round, the final tie of the weekend. Already we've seen some non-league shocks. Alvechurch, Chippenham, Farnborough, all getting through to the round 2 draw. Alvechurch getting the plum tie, going to Forest Green of League 1 in the next round. Here's Richard Keogh for Ipswich. So we played a quarter of an hour. Square ball along the deck this time, which Burgess can pick up. Tries to get away from Ashley Lodge. Ball goes up to halfway, and Edwards will just lay it off to Dominic Ball by the centre spot. Oh, hits the ball against a Bracknell player, and Esprit lays it off, and Knight tried to send it out to the right-hand side for Abisogan, but it was intercepted by Morsey, but then he's challenged strongly. But away comes Kyle Edwards with the ball, trying to wriggle through some challenges. Knight slides in, but the referee has given a free kick for the earlier challenge on Kyle Edwards, and it's for Ipswich, who have this free kick about 35 yards out from goal, 0-0.
Yeah, good bit of ball carrying there from Kyle Edwards. Under pressure, you would say Bracknell, loose pass, given away, and just got to try and keep it just a little bit better if they can when they do turn it over.
Morsey collects the free kick short, sends it out left to Kane Vincent-Young. Morsey again, drifting towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area, down the left-hand side of the box for Humphreys. Early ball into the near post, but Bracknell can clear, and Dominic Ball tried to tidy up, but he just headed the ball straight out of play, looking for Vincent-Young. So far, Michael Leacott has not had a save to make in the Bracknell goal at 0-0.
No, he hasn't. Another cross there from Ipswich, this time again down that left-hand side. That's where they've looked most likely, to be honest, but cross easily cut out. The Dominic Ball there, I don't know why he just doesn't head back to his two centre-halves.
Jack Dean's throw for Bracknell, looking down the right-hand side. It's brought down neatly by Abisogun and the Spree, but it's headed clear only as far as Knight on the halfway line. Abisogun goes in strongly on Vincent-Young. The ball eventually, after a head tennis, goes out of play for an Ipswich throw over on the far side, the east stand side, here at the SB Stadium. Home to Sandhurst Town most of the time, but as I say, this became Bracknell Town's home as of the start of last year. So a throw for Ipswich. Morsey goes back to Burgess, who rolls it back to his keeper Hladky, takes the touch, gives it to Keogh, who stood at the edge of the D. Very heavy first touch from Keogh, but Spree couldn't get close enough to him before he sent the second touch further downfield. Now it's back with Burgess at the edge of the D for Ipswich Town. Options right and left. Donassian to his immediate right, clips it to John Donassian, a real regular for Ipswich Town in the back three or back four, whichever system Kieran McKenna prefers to play. Ball's rolled up to halfway. Ladapo tried to lay it off for Edwards, but the first and second balls aren't really coming off for Ipswich Town at the moment, David Connolly.
No, not at a minute. And you think Ladapo's coming short around the halfway line, just get hold of it. No need to really lay it off first time. Too many of those passes have been a little bit loose from Ipswich of late.
18 minutes gone, 0-0 on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup between Bracknell and Ipswich here at the SB Stadium. More live football to come tomorrow night. More details on that moment. Caden Jackson's trying to get away down the right-hand side for Ipswich, but a throw's been given to Bracknell Town. So tomorrow night, kick-off around the grounds with Adrian Durham on Talksport 2 from 6. Then Talksport joins in from 7. Our live game tomorrow, Bournemouth-Everton in the Carabao Cup, third round from the Vitality Stadium. And then Wednesday, 2 games from the Carabao Cup across the network. We've got Nottingham Forest against Tottenham on Talksport, Liverpool against Derby, that's on Talksport 2. And Manchester United Aston Villa rounds off our quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. That's Thursday night from 7:45. And of course the England squad is named on Thursday, and Adrian Durham will be here with Faye Carruthers for a special show Thursday afternoon between 1 and 4 as Gareth Southgate names his 26-man party to take to Qatar. Throw to Bracknell meantime here at the SB Stadium with 19 minutes gone. Thrown into the area. Inevitably it's Richard Keogh gets his head on it. Drops at the edge of the D. Jack Dean tries to get a piece of it. It's thumped away gleefully by Cameron Burgess. Almost lands in the Ipswich fans are over on that far side of the field. It is a throw to Bracknell Town. David Connolly's alongside me. What have you made of this opening 20 minutes then, David?
I mean, I just think for Bracknell, when they are trying to take those long throws and put it into a dangerous area, someone's got to maybe block if they can. Richard Keogh is coming for everything, or aim the throw away from Keogh, and then when they get the ball back there, it's no real need for Burgess to boot it up the pitch. I think that's where they've got to settle down and show how good they are, show what a good footballing team they are. I mean, we saw them at Plymouth, and what a great game that was.
Still the best game I've seen all season, that one.
Absolutely. Just need to settle down here because there's too many loose passes. That might be another one, yeah.
It is a loose one that's picked off, although George Knight is adjudged to have found Cameron Humphreys on halfway and winning that back. That seems a little harsh.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Looked like a really good interception there.
Instead, free kick taken quickly. Cameron Humphreys just clips the ball down the right-hand side of the box looking for Caden Jackson, but well dealt with by Ethan Burden. But it does give Ipswich Town a corner kick at the south end of the ground. 0-0 when we play 20 minutes on Talksport 2.
Well, it's their first real attack down this right-hand side. An awful lot of Ipswich best players come down the left.
I'd love to be able to tell you who's taking the corner, but I've got Scooby-Doo, can't see him. There's too many people in the way. But it is a right-wing corner for Ipswich Town. Most of the defenders Marking zonally, ball comes to the far post, punched away by Ecott. Two-fisted, drops at the edge of the area. Bracknell trying to win it back, and they do. And it's Esprit trying to bring it away, but Keogh tidies up, almost gets dispossessed, and now there's a straight race between Vincent Young and Esprit, but it's a comfortable win. It's Tenassi in actual fact that gets there first. And the ball's in possession of Sam Morsey for Ipswich Town, 10 yards from the halfway line. Gets up to the halfway line, just flicks it to his right for Tenassi, and he gives it back to his captain. Now it's picked up briefly by Dominic Ball. Burgess takes over now, just over the halfway line to the left of centre. Trying to thread it down the left-hand side looking for Ladapo, but it's intercepted by Bracknell, but Morsey wins it back. Morsey up to the edge of the area, well intercepted by Bayliss. Ball's threaded up to Esprit on halfway, but Keogh gets a really good foot in to stop Esprit getting hold of the ball. Now Cameron English trying to hold on to the ball as he approaches the halfway line. Tries to skip away from a couple of challenges, but Morsey's there again, tenacious as always.
Yeah, he's
for
strong.
Ipswich Town.
He's stronger, isn't he? I mean, English has got to know when he's up against these sort of Ipswich players, a little bit stronger, a little bit quicker. He did well initially, then just offload the ball and try and keep it.
The ball thumped into the supporters on that far side of the field, the east stand side. It'll be a throw-in to Ipswich Town. We're at the midway point of the first half, live on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Bracknell Town of the Southern League Premier Central 0, Ipswich Town of League 1 0. But here's Freddie Ladapo trying to turn 30 yards out, trying to work it out to the right hand side for a cross to come in maybe. Across comes English to close down the cross. The cross is hit too firmly in the end, and Abbas Hogan can let the ball run out of play on the far side of the field for a Bracknell throw, 0-0.
That was a good bit of skill there, was it, from Ladapo? That's much better. Ball comes into him this time, really good touch. Takes it away from his man, feeds it out wide, just across. Over hit this time. I mean, whether it's from the left or from the right, hasn't really worked out for it so far when they've gone wide.
Bracknell beat Harrow, Chesham, Yates and Banbury to make round 1. Ipswich, of course, haven't got to round 3 since their relegation to League 1 back in a few years ago. Made round 2 a couple of times, but not made the jamboree when the big boys entered the competition. A heavy challenge from Jack Dean on the halfway line. It's going to get him a yellow card without question for that. Charles Breakspear quick to give the right back the card for a poor challenge, and Ipswich have a free kick. It was Caden Jackson who was caught.
Yeah, just a little bit late there, as you say.
That's where a friend of mine would normally say he got there as soon as he could. Free kick to Ipswich on halfway. Tucked back for Cameron Burgess inside his own half. Tries to hit a diagonal ball downfield, just smacks straight into the back of Ashley Lodge, but the ball's worked back to Fladkey.
He's had a couple of them, hasn't he, Burgess? You know, maybe he's just working his way into the game, but a few loose passes from him.
Well, I did wonder, the pitch is a terrific playing surface, but the swirling wind around the SB Stadium is a bit of a leveller, because there's nowhere else for the wind to go, because there are no high stands here, are there, David?
No. But you'd imagine Ipswich, as long as they keep the ball on the floor, as they're doing at the minute.
Well, they're trying to get Caden Jackson away down the right-hand side. Across comes Ethan Burden and gets a foot in. The ball's gone out of play. And I think it'll be another Bracknell throw down that left-hand side. We've played 24 and a half minutes on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. More than holding their own, Bracknell, you would say, at this point. Again, I can't see... the ball's just coming back from behind the television gantry that's been erected just to our right-hand side. Ball's thrown in. It's well cleared initially by Anthony Cheshire, who was then caught as he tried to bring it clear. Ipswich won it back, but the referee had blown for a free kick. It's taken too quickly by Bracknell. Esprit couldn't get onto it, and the ball just bounced over his head and through to Fladkey. Stays 0-0.
Well, that is where, as I said, a couple of times already, Bracknell too keen to get going once they get the ball back. Maybe just settle down and get another pass or two in. Don't be too eager to get the ball forward again.
Esprit's the man in the FA Cup for Bracknell. He scored 3 in 5 FA Cup ties this season and 14 in 18 games in all competitions for the man who joined from the Bedfont Sports team. Scored in each of his last 3, the Bracknell number 9. And he has looked lively, but he's got a wily old campaigner in Richard Keogh up against him tonight, who's in possession now for Ipswich, just over the halfway line. Tried to get Cameron Humphreys away down the right-hand side, but Bracknell win it back, trying to find a spree on the halfway line, but instead it breaks for Dominic Ball. Now Morsey takes over on the centre spot, plays it to his immediate left and Cameron Burgess just knocks it forward to Edwards, who comes in field, but he's being held up by Jack Dean. Goes out to the left hand side. Burgess looks for Vincent Young, has to give it back to Cameron Burgess because Abisogan was straight on him. Sam Morsey takes over once more for Ipswich Town. Square ball to Dominic Ball, and further out to the right hand side looking for Danassian, who's pushed forward for a moment. Gets to the dead ball line. What's the cross like? It's into the near post, but headed away by the Bracknell defence. And then Ashley Lodge trying to get it further clear. It's down this near side, the left hand side, and Ipswich win it back and get it back to their goalkeeper Hladky.
Good clearance there at the near post. A nice spell here for Ipswich, dominating the ball. Just forced Bracknell back. Nearly all 11 for Bracknell in their own half now.
There's a long ball downfield trying to get Vincent Young in behind Abisogan, but it's way over hit. There's not a great deal of encouragement for the 300 so Ipswich fans who've come here tonight, David Connolly, is there?
No, I mean, look, there's no early goal, and I think certainly it's going to be a tough challenge to break them down, by the looks of it. And they're pretty well organised, Bracknell. You know, they defend pretty well. When they clear the ball, they move up well as a unit. They've been bright on their set pieces, so, I mean, so far, so if you're a Bracknell fan, you'll be pretty pleased.
Ipswich won the 1978 FA Cup, of course. Roger Osborne with the only goal of the game when they beat Arsenal. The best they've done since then was the semi-finals, which was a couple of years later when they lost in 81 to Manchester City, who ended up losing the final to Tottenham Hotspur in that thriller of a replay at Wembley Stadium. Now here's Cameron Burgess trying to slide it up to the edge of the area. It's cleared away by Bayliss. Abisogan can bring it down and clip it up to the halfway line, but it's nowhere near Esprit, and Cameron Burgess has it, and Ipswich just starting to keep the ball a little bit more in the opposition half. It's worked back into their own half just for the moment now, and Keogh steps to the right of Esprit, forced back to his keeper by Esprit, and here is Cameron Burgess once again, trotting up towards the halfway line, approaching the half-hour mark on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup first round. Bracknell 0, Ipswich 0. Burgess gives it to Kyle Edwards. He gets it back again, Burgess. Not really been closed down. And Morsey has it now just ahead of the centre circle. And clips the ball into the feet of young Cameron Humphreys. Morsey looks again, this time for Dominic Ball in the inside right channel. Danassian's gone ahead of him. Jackson's out there too. And Bracknell trying to win the ball back, and they do, but it comes back in field to Sam Morsey. Morsey into the feet of Ladapo. Morsey takes over. It's gone out to the right-hand side, cross into the near post, and it's put behind for an Ipswich corner kick. It's still 0-0, but another corner kick to the Tractor Boys at the south end. 0-0.
Yeah, Bayliss did well there to skip up just to clear the danger. It's another corner, this time from the right-hand side.
Well, again, it's complete guesswork as to who's taking this corner kick from the right-hand side, but again, the Ipswich players, the defenders, have got that love train going just next to the penalty spot. If you make a run to the near post as the kick comes in, poor punch from the keeper, but he was being nudged out of the way, says referee Breakspear, by a couple of Ipswich players, and so Bracknell get a free kick, and the danger passes once again. 0-0. Quickly taken free kick, looking to get Cameron English in behind, but that's very calm defending by Janoy Danassian.
Well, that's where he caught. I think the goalkeeper's just got to settle down a little bit. Ipswich have had an awful lot of the ball, force Bracknell back, and they win it, get a goal kick, and immediately he gets the play restarted. And instead, Ipswich have got it straight back.
And Vincent Young sprinting down the left-hand side of the box, but that's a good interception. Ashley Lodge, I think it was back there, who put the ball out of play in the end for a throw to Ipswich over on the far side. And it will be Kane Vincent Young who goes across to that far side to take the throw. Half an hour gone on Talksport 2, your home of live football. One of 450 live games we're bringing you this season, including, of course, every single game of the FIFA World Cup, which starts a week on Sunday, as Qatar take on Ecuador Sunday evening.
Well, there's a bit of wrestling here, I think, in the box.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the throw-in to be taken, but referee Breakspear wants a word with Anthony Cheshire, and I think Freddie Ladapo is the other player he wants to have a bit of a chat with.
Yeah, I think Ladapo's just trying to get the ball into the box from the throw to feet, and Cheshire just been a little bit too tight, too close to him.
Eventually the throw will be taken. It's about 10 yards from the corner flag. Left-hand side for Ipswich Town as they attack the south end, should I say, here at the SB Stadium. Keogh in possession just inside the centre circle, keeps the ball away from Esprit. Morsey knocks it back to Burgess just over the halfway line. Pretty much everything to his right, although Vincent Young's made another run to his left. But Burgess looks for Edwards towards the end of the area. Vincent Young takes over up to the edge of the area, tries to play a 1-2 with Ladapo. Ladapo gets it again, strikes it goalwards. Good save by the keeper. Comes out to the right-hand side of the box. Jackson tried to recycle it, but it's gone behind in the end for a goal kick. And Michael Ecott had to be at his best there to keep Bracknell level.
Yeah, nice little move here from Ipswich. A little give and go on the edge of the box, and as you say, Ecott full stretch, palmed it away, and then on the rebound looks like Ipswich just slotted it wide. Best move of the match really for the Tractor boys.
Yeah, a couple of 1-2s and suddenly they were in behind, but it ends up just being a goal kick, which is thumped downfield now by Ecott. Headed back towards the halfway line by Keogh. Humphreys neatly turns inside one man, and then ball gets to this near touchline, tries to keep it in play, doesn't do so. It's just going to be a throw for Bracknell Town on the halfway line, left hand side, straight to Dominic Ball, but then it's clipped forward by George Knight up to the edge of the area. Ipswich clear their lines. It's just hooked downfield by Cameron Humphreys, but that'll come back for the goalkeeper Ecott, who drives the ball out of play on this near side. We're just seeing a replay again of that little 1-2 effort with Vincent Young playing a little 1-2 with Ladapo, and then Ladapo had the final effort and it came out to Jackson on the right hand side, and it was actually Humphreys in the end who stabbed the ball wide for that best move of the match for Ipswich Town, but it stays 0-0.
Yep. I mean, they haven't really got round or in behind them that often, have they, Ipswich? Bracknell defended pretty well, but this was a decent little give and go, and I'll give the goalkeeper a bit of confidence too.
Stays goalless then. Buxton await in round 2 for the winners of this tie, whether it's tonight or whether it might even need a replay at Portman Road. Burgess for Ipswich rolls the ball back to his keeper Hladky at the edge of the D. Now Keogh seeing a lot of the ball in this first half, plays the ball square back to Burgess. Nobody closing him down yet again, Cameron Burgess, so he's going to advance with the ball at his feet all the way to the halfway line. Now Morsey picks it up from him left hand side.
Well, this is where the two centre halves, Dan, Burgess and Keogh, they've got to do something with this ball, because they're 2v1 up against Esprit, and basically what can he do? Drive it. Here's Keogh in possession. Go over the halfway line. He is now.
He is by about 10 or 15 yards into the Bracknell half, slides it out to the right hand side. Good work down the right hand side from Danassian, trying to keep it in play, but plenty back there for Bracknell. They clear it down the left hand side, but I think it's drifted out of play, came off an Ipswich boot, and it's a quickly taken throw back to Cameron Burgess. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time on Talksport 2. It's still 0-0.
And they'll be pleased with this, Bracknell. You know, keep concentrating now, because we're getting to the last 10, as you say. They've obviously been doing a lot of chasing in this first 35 minutes. Got to stick with their men.
That's former Southampton and Republic of Ireland striker David Connolly alongside me, Ian Dancer on commentary. Here's Freddie Ladapo down the left-hand side of the box for Ipswich. Looks near post for Vincent Young. Good save again by Ecott. Danger's not gone. Morsey toe pokes it wide from about 12 yards out. Another great chance for Ipswich Town, but Michael Ecott makes his second good save in a matter of minutes to keep scores level, 0-0.
Good move from Ipswich this time, working it down the left-hand side of the box. Ladapo fed the ball inside into the area. First time finish, and looked like a great save from Ecott with his feet.
So it's a goal kick for Michael Ecott to take. 26 years of age. Joined last year after 4 years nearby Sutton Common Rovers. He was in the team of a number of these Bracknell players were in the Isthmian team of the year for the league last season. He's made 2 good saves in this first half. Might have some more defending to do here. Jackson trying to get inside the box, but Ecott out to grab hold of the ball 10 yards from goal, as the ball swirled from the left-hand side, looking to get Caden Jackson in behind. 0-0 it stays. Ecott's goal kick, headed back towards the halfway line by Danassian, but it's brought down by Lodge. He plays the square ball to Dean. Dean looking to raise Abisogan down the right-hand side. He slipped. Not even sure whether he was offside, but the ball's kept in play by Max Herbert. And now Dean again, the right back, trying to clip it down the right flank for Abisogan, who holds the ball up with his back to play.
That's better, isn't it, from Bracknell?
Now they're trying to roll it up to the edge of the area. A spree normally almost played in behind, but Richard Keogh got an important foot in. Edwards drives it up to halfway for Ipswich. Heavy touch from Ladapo, but he's kept hold of it. And then it's one back by Ashley Lodge, and Abisogan can now have a run at Vincent Young down the Bracknell right, but good strength from Kane Vincent Young to stop Abisogan getting round and past him. And the ball's played back to the edge of the Ipswich area. Morsey and Burgess combine, and Burgess will thump the ball downfield, and down goes Daniel Bayliss under pressure from Ladapo, and that'll be a free kick to Bracknell Town. We edge towards the half-time whistle. 8.5 minutes to go of this first half in the FA Cup first round.
Well, Bracknell will be thrilled. I mean, that was a really good spell in possession for them. You know, worked it well. Abisogan, nice, strong hold-up play. They picked up the second balls as well, and they're ending the half really strongly here, Bracknell.
And they have a free kick for that challenge on Bayliss, so Ecott, the goalkeeper, will strike it. Has to clip it down the right-hand side. Again, good strong defending from Kane Vincent Young, but his header drifts out of play on that far side, the east stand side, so Bracknell Town will have a throw. It will be Jack Dean to take it, the right back, wearing number 2 for Bracknell Town in their red and black shirts, black shorts and socks, attacking the clubhouse end away to our left-hand side. Now Dan goes his spree. Has he won a free kick? He has. He was pushed over by Kane Vincent Young, and now it's almost as good as a corner, this, down the right-hand side for Bracknell Town at 0-0.
Absolutely, and they've got a really good in-swinging delivery here. I think it might be Herbert on the ball.
Yes, Herbert had that early corner from that side that he tried to hit under the crossbar, and he's standing to the side of the ball, ready to do exactly the same thing. Ipswich holding their line at the edge of the 6-yard box, trying not to drop any deeper as it's not a corner.
Well, you can see the wind, because right behind her, but you can see all the trees, the huge conifers blowing that in that direction towards the goal, so any sort of decent delivery here.
Well, there's a bit of pushing and shoving because Ipswich are trying to hold their line. In fact, they're dropping a little deeper now. They're more like 4 yards out than the 6 yards they were when they originally set themselves. It will be Herbert with the free kick, whipped into the near post, and Keogh inevitably gets the header in. Herbert heads it back into the box. Guess who? Keogh gets it clear. Drops in the centre of the half, but Kyle Edwards couldn't get a piece of it. It's lobbed down the left-hand side, looking for Esprit to get a header against Vincent Young, and Vincent Young's header goes out for a throw, but Esprit was offside from that lob ball downfield. But Richard Keogh has been everywhere tonight for Ipswich Town, 0-0.
He's certainly using all his experience in the right place at the right time, reading the flight of the ball. His clearances have been superb. What you would say is, just make sure you keep it away from him. He positions himself central of the area, doesn't he? 6-yard box. Always in the right place at the right time, in a good zonal space.
Burgess now for Ipswich Town. 6 minutes to half-time on Talksport 2. Still goalless in the FA Cup between Bracknell and Ipswich. Here's Sam Morsey, the Tractor Boys captain. Plays the one to the feet of Humphreys, who under pressure does really well to keep the ball away from George Knight. And Burgess strides a bit more purposefully into the Bracknell half. Little touch in field, gets Dominic Ball down the inside left channel, but an important touch from Anthony Cheshire takes it away from Ipswich, and then Abisogan puts the ball out of play for an Ipswich throw on the far side.
That was a lucky, nice little quick bit of play. That's what, they've looked pretty good at Ipswich around the box.
Now Edwards trying to get down the left-hand side of the area. Can he pull it back? Ladapo! He's put it wide from the edge of the 6-yard box. The pullback from Kyle Edwards found Ladapo right in front of goal. Surely had the chance to put Ipswich ahead, but he drags it the wrong side of the post. Goal kick, 0-0.
Oh, maybe, I don't know. Would he say it was slightly behind him, the cutback? I don't think so. It was on his left foot as well. As you say, just dragged it past that far post. Again, there's another attack down that left for Ipswich. That has been their best route to goal so far tonight. Created an awful lot down that side.
Remember the Sports Breakfast, Talksport Breakfast, back tomorrow from 6 with Laura Woods and Ali McCoist. Ray Parlour will join the fun from 8 a.m. And amongst their guests tomorrow, Eddie Jones, the England Rugby Union coach, after that narrow defeat to Argentina that you heard live on Talksport 2 yesterday afternoon. And Charlie Austin will be on live from Australia to talk about, of course, the news today that Southampton have parted company with Ralph Hasenhüttl, amongst many other things. Now, throw in to Bracknell Town, 10 yards from the corner flag on this near side of the left. but the throw is comfortably cleared first time by Janoy Danassian, and that'll be another throw for Bracknell, but much further back towards the halfway line. But Lodge will still fancy getting some distance on this throw. I think you've just seen that Ladapo chance again, haven't you?
It was a really decent one. Yeah, he's only, as you say, 7 yards out, trying to aim it towards that far corner. Dragged it past the post, and it's the best chance of the game easily.
Well, the ball's just been cleared out near our commentary position, not on our commentary position, for a throw. And it will eventually be a chance for, again, Ashley Lodge to get some distance on this throw. He does have a short option down at the dead ball line, but Lodge has gone deep to the edge of the 6-yard box.
Someone's got to get across Keogh.
Yeah, Keogh gets there yet again. George Knight, though, retrieves it. Ashley Lodge, he went for glory, Ashley Lodge, from 30 yards out, but shanked his right-footed drive horribly wide, and it's an Ipswich goal kick. But it is ticking round towards half-time here. 3 minutes plus added time to the break. On Talksport 2, Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. David Connolly.
Yeah, they'll be thrilled. What they will maybe look at, Bracknell, is a couple of times have they done enough when they've had throws in and around the box, free kicks, corners, have they done enough with those sorts of situations, restarts and things? No one getting across Keogh. That's what I'm sure they'll be talking about at half-time. Someone's got to get across him and just make sure he can't get a clean contact on the clearance. If nothing else, it will just splash down.
Well, Bracknell trying to win a throw, but the ball's going to play for an Ipswich throw just to the right of our commentary position, and it's flung back in by Danassian to Cameron Burgess in the centre of his own half. Brings the ball up to halfway, once again unopposed, slides it out to Kane Vincent Young on the far left hand side, plays it infield for Morsey. Morsey turns away from trouble and finds Cameron Burgess once again, now picked up by Morsey, tries to step away from another challenge. Has to go back to Keogh on halfway. They're snapping into the challenges. Once Ipswich get into the Bracknell half, then they engage.
Absolutely.
And it's Burgess now, looking for Ladapo, who's had the best chance of the half for Ipswich. Down the left-hand side of the area, gives it back outside the box to Burgess. Ladapo again, down the left-hand side, tries to play a first-time ball with the outside of his boot, sensing the run across him of Kyle Edwards. But it was way beyond Edwards and bounced over the dead ball line for a Bracknell goal kick. 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, look, George Knight, Ashley Lodge, they are putting the likes of Sam Morsey and Don Ball under an awful lot of pressure when they do receive the ball in defeat in midfield. And you've got to say the work rate from Bracknell, as you'd expect, it's been outstanding. The challenge will be second half, maintaining that, continuing that,
Well, you said that before kick-off about non-contract players and how fit they can be.
Exactly.
It's a difference between being a professional player.
Well, training once a week, maybe twice at max if you're lucky. If we're able to get them twice a week, but mostly once a week at step 3 level, and obviously up against pros who are training every day, strength conditioning programs, etc. You think that fitness will tell.
But it is 0-0. And if the joint management team of Jamie McClurg and Carl Withers get them in 0-0 at half-time, they will be absolutely delighted. But there's time yet for something to happen in this first half. We're into the last minute of normal time on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup, 0-0, and Cameron Burgess just tucks the ball up to the halfway line for Vincent Young, who's coming field for the moment from that left flank. Plays the ball out left to Kyle Edwards, trying to play a first-time ball in field, but Jack Dean got the interception. Back with Morsey. Morsey tries to step away from Lodge, but again they're not allowing too much space for Ipswich to thread the passes through. Morsey once again, back to the halfway line, and Richard Keogh. We're about to find out how many added minutes, although if the ball gets held up I won't see it. Left hand side, Cameron Burgess can bring the ball forward almost to the left hand corner of the box. Jackson will give it back to Burgess once more. Abby Sogan, we're into 1 minute. Thank you, sir. An Ipswich Town supporter just in front of us showing what's on the board. 1 minute of minimum stoppage time, which we're into now on Talksport 2. And Keogh flies into a headed challenge to keep the ball away from a spree on halfway. Herbert wins the ball back for Bracknell Town, trying to step in front of the ball to protect it from Kyle Edwards, and then they look for a spree with a long ball downfield. Keogh slips and the spree can turn to try and run at the Ipswich backline. Abby Sogan on the right wing puts a cross in and it's deflected behind us. No, he put it straight out of play for a goal kick. He wanted a corner, but he didn't wrap his foot round it enough there, did Abby Sogan, and so it's a goal kick to Ipswich Town in stoppage time, 0-0.
That was a shame because first time really Keogh's made a mistake, made an error, little slip in around the halfway line, and it was a good break, just a bit of composure there from Abby Sogan.
Now Caden Jackson trying to turn away on the halfway line, trying to release Donasian further down the right hand side. They're waiting for a cross. It comes into the near post. Might drop for Humphreys, and it's blocked away. Comes out to the edge of the box. Ladapo trying to tee up a teammate. Back out to the right wing for Ipswich. Late chances in the first half. It's out of play, and the Bracknell fans loving that as the half-time whistle goes. They have kept Ipswich Town of League One at bay for 45 minutes. They haven't really tested Václav Hladký in the Ipswich goal, but Michael Ecott has made two very important saves, one from Vincent Young and Freddie Ladapo. When they combined at the edge of the area, Ladapo let the shot go, brilliant block save, and Ladapo then dragged the shot wide when really well placed left hand side of the 6-yard box. Frustration for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich, but I imagine the Bracknell joint management team, this would have been exactly what they would have been hoping for, to be competitive at half-time with a side 108 places above them in the pyramid. At the break at the SB Stadium, Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. Both sets of players are back out, and the Bracknell players just doing a few little warm-up exercises in the centre of their own half of the field. I mentioned Lincoln City being the last team that Bracknell Town played the only previous time they made round one of the FA Cup. Well, Lincoln were a non-league side when they knocked out Ipswich back in 2017. I think that was the era of Matt Reed, when he was being quite the physical specimen up front for the Imps at the time. And Ipswich have been knocked out 6 times by non-league opposition in the FA Cup. That, against Lincoln in 2017, was the most recent occasion. We're ready for the off. No changes that I can see for either team at the start of this second half. So Ecott will be the goalkeeper for Bracknell. Dean, Cheshire, Bayliss and Burden in the back four. Abisoga, Knight, Lodge and English across midfield. Herbert and Esprit up front. For Ipswich, Hladký the goalkeeper. Donasian, Keogh, Burgess and Vincent Young at the back. Morsey, Ball and Edwards in midfield. Humphreys, Jackson and Ladapo up front. And Ipswich in their blue shirts and socks and white shorts are attacking the clubhouse end to our immediate left. We're level with the 18-yard line in that half of the field. Bracknell in their red and black shirts with a slight striped black grading on the shirts, black shorts and socks, and they're defending the clubhouse end as Sam Morsey gets an early touch at the start of this second half for Ipswich Town. It's rolled into the feet of Caden Jackson. He lays it off for Cameron Humphreys. Now Kyle Edwards, almost at the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Vincent Young looks to step inside Jack Dean. Still has it, Vincent Young. Now there's other players, George Knight, for example, coming across to close down the space. So Humphreys, little live wire midfielder for Ipswich, plays a 1-2 with Jackson. Goes back to Dominic Ball. Humphreys has it again, just 5 yards ahead of the centre circle. Tries to play a straight ball through the middle for Vincent Young, but Bracknell deal with it, and it's with Herbert, and Herbert will get the ball out to the right-hand side and ask Asibogan to get forward. He plays the ball across to Cameron English. English out to the left-hand side of the box, and Ashley Lodge, and his cross is blocked away by an Ipswich defender for a throw-in. 0-0, early stages of the second half on Talksport 2.
Yeah, that was a good counter. I mean, they defended a little pass. You know, Humphreys trying to thread one through the Ivan Needle, broke that up, and then attacked really well. And they've got a dangerous throw here.
From the left-hand side, it's thrown into English, who's down the byline down the left-hand side, but that's defended well by Ipswich. They just thump it downfield. There was nobody in a blue shirt on halfway, so plenty of time for the ball to be rolled back to Michael Ecott, who made 2 good saves in the first half for Bracknell. He hits a long ball down the centre of the field, and Cameron Burgess just allows that to skim off the top of his head and through to his keeper Václav Hladký. Ipswich playing the ball around at the back, looking for Vincent Young to bring it forward. Edwards calling for it down this near touch line, but it goes back infield to Cameron Burgess, who trots up to the halfway line. Edwards starts to make a run down the left-hand side. Vincent Young takes over. Now he feeds Edwards left-hand corner of the box. Good strong sliding challenge from Gary Abisogan. And Kyle Edwards has come off worse from that challenge, but that was a no-nonsense sliding challenge from Gary Abisogan on the Bracknell right. 0-0.
Yeah, look, he's done really well, I think, Gary, because he's attacked well just moments ago. He was raiding down the right-hand side, breaking close to the Ipswich box, and then obviously when Ipswich have it, he's doing a really good job defensively, the Bracknell right winger. 3
minutes gone in the second half on Talksport 2. It is Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. Ball's at the back with Richard Keogh, who saw a lot of the ball in the first half. The ball was attracted to him like a magnet from pretty much every set piece and every throw. Out to the left-hand side, now up to halfway. Ladapo spins and turns away really well from Anthony Cheshire. Feeds it through to Vincent Young, down the left-hand side of the box. Catches up with the ball, lays it off to Kyle Edwards. Edwards can't get past Knight. Knight wins it back for Bracknell and chips it down the right-hand side. And Bracknell repel Ipswich just for the moment.
Yeah, the through ball was just slightly, a little bit too far in front of Vincent Young. That was unlucky.
Now Keogh driving forward. Looks for Ladapo, 30 yards out, tries to get it back to Keogh. Heavy pass back, couldn't quite get hold of it, Keogh. Now it's Morsey, the Ipswich captain, faced up by Abisogan and Herbert. Still holding on to it, Morsey. Been wriggling around this left-hand channel. Now it's worked in field by Vincent Young. Neat layoff by Humphreys to Dominic Ball. Keogh again, just over the halfway line. Got Edwards just ahead of him, and to his left, Dominic Ball once again. Little straight ball, lovely turn up by Ladapo, taken over by Vincent Young, but he couldn't get past Daniel Bayliss, and the Bracknell captain just threw himself to the deck and blocked Vincent Young as he got into the area, and the goalkeeper Eacott could just pounce on the loose ball. 0-0.
Yeah, he's had a really good game, hasn't he, the skipper for Bracknell. Right place, right time. Got across to block the danger. You've got to say they've defended in around the box really well.
Nearly 5 minutes gone, second half. It is Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. And Eacott, the Bracknell goalkeeper, thumps the ball downfield. But the offside flag has gone up, has it?
Against Ladapo down this end, I think it is.
Yeah, so it will be a much easier chance for Eacott to get the ball downfield with a free kick, when he was really forced into the hurried clearance downfield. But he can place this with a bit more accuracy, he would hope. Hitting into the window, David Conley. That's the problem that Bracknell have got this half.
Well, he's still got distance though, look at that. It's close to the edge of the box.
Drifting out to the right-hand side, looking for Abisogan. It's hit up to Esprit, flicks it down the left-hand side. Cameron English giving chase. And English has won it back, down the left-hand side of the area. Gets to the byline, can he pull it back? Or he has a rush of blood to the head and tried to fire it. I'm not sure whether that was a cross or a shot from Cameron English. But it went way, way wide and over and into the trees behind the goal at that south end. Yeah. It's a goal kick to Ipswich, 0-0.
I mean, we said at half-time what might the two joint managers say, and I'm sure it'll be a bit of composure, as we said, in and around the box. We saw in the first half, Abisogan, rushed it, crossed it off the pitch that time. English, the same, crossed it off the pitch, bit of composure in that sort of area. You don't need to whack it, just leave it into an area, take some pace off it.
They've only just got the ball back from the trees at the south end of the ground. About 2,000 fans here tonight in Berkshire, hoping that Bracknell can cause another cup upset. We've seen it from Alvechurch, from Farnborough, from Chippenham, from Kings Lynn already, amongst others, in this round one. Although High Boot gives Bracknell a free kick just over halfway.
Well, in this sort of area, you can see all the outfield players going up to the box, and the goalkeeper here, who, as we've touched on a few times, has got really good distance. He's going to easily be able to put this, close to the 6-yard box if he wants to.
Right on halfway, as David Connolly says, this free kick for Bracknell, just shy of it. And Michael Eacott, to the right of centre, is going to drill it diagonally, by the looks of things, out to the left-hand corner of the box. That's exactly what he's done. Bayliss is out there, can only head it away from goal, couldn't get it towards the penalty area, and it drifts out of play. But it did come off an Ipswich head last of all, it seems, because Bracknell awarded a throw. 0-0.
Well, they can have it to feet here if they do this quickly, Bracknell.
And they've done that because it's picked up by Ethan Burden, the left back. Gives it back to the left-hand side. Ball whipped in. Bayliss was making a run in at the near post. Good defensive clearance by Richard Keogh there once again. Jack Dean heads it back into the Ipswich box. Now it breaks for Herbert. Herbert trying to drift down the left-hand side of the area. Gets to the byline, tries to win a corner. He's actually got it back again by the corner flag. English in support. He heads to the byline. He runs into a challenge of Caden Jackson. Back doing his defending for Ipswich. Does it well, but his clearance only finds Anthony Cheshire, the centre half of Bracknell, just ahead of the centre circle. Now it's spread wide, looking for Abisogan. Good defending by Kyle Edwards that time, and Vincent Young, but Abisogan's got it again. Just disappears out of sight down the right-hand side for Bracknell. Tries to get the cross in, and it's gone behind for a corner kick-off, and Ipswich boot 0-0.
Yeah, good spell. Really good spell for Bracknell. There's keeping the ball alive. Ball pops out. Cheshire gets there first. ahead of Ladapo and just recycles it, and they've got another corner.
8 minutes gone, second half. It's 0-0, and it's going to be another chance for Max Herbert to swing a left-footed corner in and see whether the wind holds it up. Plenty of players inside the 6-yard box in either red and black or blue, and it will be a left-footed in-swinger once the ball, well, the other ball's been retrieved from behind the trees. It's just bouncing behind the Ipswich fans at that south end, and it's going to be a right-footed effort from Herbert this time, it seems.
Referee, 2 balls on the pitch now.
Yeah, there's 2 balls on the pitch, so that ball that was bouncing around behind the trees eventually made its way over the dead ball line. Referee Breakspear making sure it's firmly out of play, and then he allows the corner kick to be taken from the right-hand side for Bracknell. A packed 6-yard box once again, as the ball is eventually worked back to Herbert to take it. They want to use the original ball rather than the replacement, it seems. Eventually the corner kick is going to be taken. In it comes, right-footed, deep to the far post, headed up and out by Donassian. English chasing after it to the far side of the field, and Ladapo elects to put it out of play, so the pressure remains for Bracknell Town. 0-0, they have a throw.
Yeah, good ball. I mean, you could see they all started in the round close to the 6-yard box, well, the near post of the 6-yard box, then spun towards the back post. That's where the ball came, but a good clearing header from Donassian.
Ashley Lodge takes a quick throw down the left-hand side of the box. Sprees, he won a corner off Ladapo. He has. Corner on the far side on the southeast corner for Bracknell Town as they keep the pressure on League One Ipswich Town. And it will be Ashley Lodge, the number 8 for Bracknell, to take this corner kick, right-footed in-swinger. Again, a whole clutch of players standing right in front of Václav Hadke. In it comes from Lodge into the near post, headed away, only as far as Herbert, sent back into the box by Lodge. Keogh there again to clear. He's been on the end of pretty much everything. Herbert wins it back at the edge of the box, but it's smuggled away by Ipswich once more, up to halfway. But Bracknell have it back again. Jack Dean tries to turn it down the right-hand side of the box for Abby Sogan, but Ipswich get it away, but it goes out of play in the end for a throw to Bracknell Town.
Great work,
0-0. 10 minutes gone second half, David.
Yeah, brilliant from Bracknell. Just to, when they lose the ball, hunting really hard to try and get it back, just not allowing Ipswich to get out their half at the minute.
So it will be a throw that Jack Dean lobs down the right-hand side, looking to get Esprit away. Did that come off an Ipswich player? Doesn't matter. Comes back to Dean, trying to thread it up to the edge of the area. Again, the ball disappears out of sight from our commentary position. Played down the right-hand side of the box, and Esprit down by the corner flag manages to pull the ball back into the area, but again only finds the boot of Richard Keogh, and he can clear the ball away, and now Ipswich can try and counter. It's Donassian pushing forward from right wing back. What a strong run from Donassian. Puts it into the box, but didn't get his head up, didn't see who was making the run, and it was easy for Daniel Bayliss to control and clear for Bracknell. 0-0.
Yeah, you're right, didn't get his head up. I mean, no one was up with him. He's so quick, Donassian. That's where he just needs a bit of composure. Just wait. Ladapo was busting a gut to get there, but he wasn't there. No point putting the ball in the box. If you don't have a teammate up in play with you. 1
or 2 warming up from the Ipswich bench right in front of us, including Wes Burns, who, of course, could be off to Qatar next week with Wales if he's selected by Rob Page. Meantime, here's Cameron English for Bracknell. Looks and he finds Abby Sogan inside the area. Oh, he just took a heavy touch. He's still got it. Chops onto his left foot at the edge of the box. Takes the shot at goal, and it's straight at Hladky. Pounces on the ball. That's the best chance that Bracknell Town have had tonight, and it was on target. But it was straight at Václav Hadke from Gary Abisogan. 0-0.
Yeah, just a better first touch here from Abisogan with his right foot. Instead, it gets stuck under his feet. He then has to chop it back in field. And that left foot strike, pretty comfortable save for the Ipswich keeper.
So Cameron Burgess brings it away for Ipswich Town. He can carry the ball over the halfway line. Might be something he's been asked to do more and more by Kieran McKenna.
Yeah, he's got to take it into the Bracknell half more often.
Edwards looks to slide in Vincent Young down the left-hand side of the box, pulls it back to the 6-yard line, gets stuck under Humphrey's feet, and he toe pokes it goalwards, and it went just the wrong side of the post for Ipswich, and Bracknell have a goal kick. 0-0.
Oh, it was unlucky. I mean, I think Humphreys has been really lively, hasn't he? For Ipswich Town, breaking into that box. He's always alive and alert. Looks like a real talent. He's got a lovely left foot on him. The ball just wouldn't quite fall for him there, though.
He was Academy Player of the Year last year, Cameron Humphreys, still only 19. Signed a new contract in the summer, and I watched him in the Papa John's at Cambridge.
Yeah, you said,
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He stuck out as someone with great maturity.
Yeah.
For a kid that young, Yeah. And he scored his first league goal as well at Port Vale 2 games ago for Ipswich Town. Player with a very, very bright future, Cameron Humphreys. Now it's 0-0. We played 13.5 minutes of the second half on Talksport 2 in this FA Cup first round tie. No extra time and penalties tonight. It would go straight to a replay back at Portman Road if we are still 0-0 on 90 minutes. Esprit trying to close down Hladky as he passes outside his penalty area to Richard Keogh. Keogh, who again strides purposefully towards the halfway line, squares it left for Burgess. Burgess again bringing it over halfway. He's facing that shimmering black mask he's got to protect his cheekbone. Back it goes out to the left-hand side, and Kyle Edwards just rolls it back once again to Burgess. Morsey's there too. Just trying to keep it calm now, Ipswich Town, just trying to thread their way through gently. Now it's sent further down the field along the deck for Caden Jackson. Lays it off to Edwards. Now Vincent Young approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Slides it down the left-hand side of the box. Jackson keeping it in play down in front of our commentary position by the corner flag. Vincent Young finds Edwards once again, who's approaching the penalty area. Looks to play Vincent Young inside the box. Going to get the shot away, trying to find room for the shot. He tries to find Humphreys, but the ball trickles off the top of his boot. And Ashley Lodge gets it half clear, but then English treads on the ball, and Humphreys plays it down the right-hand side of the area. It's cleared in by Donasian, but hooked away, only half cleared by Bracknell. But now Max Herbert can move over halfway, squares it infield for Gary Abisogan, who can have Cameron Burgess, Pat Bedling. He tries to play it ahead of him for a spree, but the ball's overhit by Abisogan. Got it all wrong, and Hladky could charge out to the edge of his 18-yard box and hold on to it. 0-0.
Yeah, just starting a few tired passes, starting to creep in, and also defensively Abisogan just switched off at the other end. You know, just allow Vincent Young to go, and this is where maybe it might be telling now. All that hard work and effort that, look, they put in a superb shift so far. Just got to keep it going now. This is when they will be tested. You know, concentrating as well as physical as well as mental at the minute.
There's lots of subs warming up in front of us now from both teams. As Cameron Burgess again strides long-legged into the Bracknell half. Edwards drives for the byline, pulls it across the face of goal, well held by Ecott at his near post. Didn't quite get the pull back he wanted, Kyle Edwards, but Ecott still had to hold on to it with 2 gloves and did so well. 0-0.
Well, what you would say, he done really well in terms of getting to the byline. Then someone's got to try and at least make that run across the near post. Nobody did. Everyone expecting a little cut back.
Ecott hits a towering, booming clearance downfield, but it just bounces once.
He's got
through to Hladky.
He's got some kick, hasn't he, the goalkeeper? Amazing.
If he can calm it a little bit, it's quite the weapon, because he's overhit quite a few tonight, hasn't he?
He
David?
has, yeah. He just needs to take a little bit off it.
Now here's Ladapo inside the area. Brilliant save, Ecott. Another big chance for Freddie Ladapo as the ball suddenly was threaded through to him inside the area, but his right-footed effort was repelled by the Bracknell goalkeeper. An hour gone, 0-0 still. David Connolly
should score. I mean, it's a superb slip pass into him from Humphrey, straight pass, diagonal run from Ladapo. He's got with a first-time finish low, and again the goalkeeper Ecott with his legs, superb save.
Less than half an hour to go then on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Keogh gets to about 25 yards out, tries to lob the ball in for Dominic Ball. Anywhere will do. It's like it's the last minute of the game, the way that Ashley Lodge cleared that downfield for Bracknell. And in fact, did the ball go out of play, or was there a foul? I think there was a foul on an Ipswich player out of our sight. I have to explain, for those just tuning in, David Connolly and myself and our producer Izzy are sitting 2 rows back from the touchline on the level with the 18-yard line at the clubhouse end here at Bracknell Town. If the ball goes down the right wing of Bracknell as it is in this half, we just don't see what's happening. Now, here's Ladapo down the left-hand side of the box again. The flag's gone up for offside. He got the shot away, and again it was dealt with.
Yeah,
by the goalkeeper. It stays 0-0. And this big lad, Michael Ecott, who, as I mentioned, was in the Isthmian League Team of the Year last year, he's doing all he can to keep it scoreless, Davy Connolly.
Well, he is, and the issue is, I think he's got an issue. Might have hurt his hamstring here, maybe, or the back of his calf. But, you know, they're just crafting and getting in behind that Bracknell backline, you know, far too often at the minute. Contrast that with the first half when it was pretty hard to plot a way through them. They did it a couple of times, but at the minute, you know, I think it's the sort of the effort and the endeavour and the work rate that Bracknell have expended. A few tired bodies out there now. They could probably do with this little breather.
Yeah, well, we've had, 18 and a half, nearly 19 minutes of the second half. Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 0. More live football to come tomorrow. Kick-off around the ground starts at 6 p.m. here on Talksport 2. Adrian Durham will be your host. Talksport joins in from 7 p.m. Mickey Gray, Perry Groves, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, and David, yourself. Where are you tomorrow? What game are you at tomorrow?
Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth is the
Everton.
Everton is the Carabao Cup third round commentary that we've got for you on Talksport 2. That's a 7:45 kickoff, whilst Talksport takes you around the grounds in the EFL and the EFL Cup, because there's Championship and EFL Cup ties tomorrow to keep you in touch with. And Wednesday, a choice of Carabao Cup commentaries across the network. Nottingham Forest against Spurs on Talksport, here on Talksport 2. Liverpool against Derby. And then Thursday night, the other game in the third round, Manchester United against Aston Villa. That again live on Talksport, 7:45 kickoff in the third round of the Carabao Cup. And don't forget, Thursday afternoon from 1, Adrian Durham with a special World Cup squad announcement show between 1 and 4 as Gareth Southgate announces his 26-man party to take to Qatar next week. And of course every game of the World Cup live with Talksport or Talksport 2 starting a week on Sunday the 20th of November. I'll be there providing commentary along with Dean Ashton on Qatar against Ecuador to get things going. Ball played into the Ipswich box. It's headed down. It might break for a spree. Jack Dean's in there too. Tries to get a shot away. Blocked. Might drop in for Bayliss. Oh, he's hooked it over the bar from 6 yards out. It's a goal kick given. He was pinballing around the Ipswich penalty area. The ball just wouldn't sit down for Daniel Bayliss, and he tried to hook it goalwards with his left foot, but he hooked it well wide in the end. Goal kick, 0-0.
He was unlucky. Probably fell to the wrong man, but nonetheless, I mean, looking at the goalkeeper, he had a bit of treatment, didn't he, in that little break, and this all started with his kick. You know, again, real good distance, just forcing Ipswich back. They keep it alive, Bracknell, and certainly he won't want to come off, the goalkeeper.
Well, he seems to be all right. And here come Ipswich with Kane Vincent-Young. Gets to the byline, left-hand side, pulls it back, turned into his own net by Bayliss. And Ipswich Town lead. Finally, they hit the front, Ipswich Town. With 25 minutes to go, Kane Vincent-Young was played it down the left-hand side of the box, got to the byline and pulled it back. And Daniel Bayliss, running back to goal, could do nothing but turn it into his own net. The resistance is broken. The Robins fall behind. Bracknell 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Yeah, and it's come down their left-hand side, which has been the strongest one. It's been the one that's looked most likely, hasn't it? All game first half, they had an awful lot of opportunities. And then, it's start the second half, just grinding Bracknell down. Superb running behind, lovely pass, good weight. And he had to use all his pace to actually get there, keep the ball in play, cut the ball back. And as you say, Bayliss couldn't really do anything else. Tried to clear it, instead knocked it into the back of the net.
So a goal for Ipswich, but it's come inadvertently off the captain of Bracknell Town, Daniel Bayliss. Now Ipswich have kept 19 clean sheets in this calendar year of 2022. Only Sheffield United have got more clean sheets in the top 4 divisions. They've managed 21 to Ipswich's 19. So can they get a 20th and get through to a tie against Buxton in round 2 of the FA Cup? Less than 25 to play on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Bracknell 0, Ipswich 1. And we'll see now whether Jamie McClurg and Carl Withers make changes from the bench to try and give a bit more firepower up front. In fact, I think they have made a change. I think they brought on the number 23, Mikael Platt. I didn't see who went off, but the change was made in the turnaround when that goal went in. But Mikael Platt is on.
Esprit by looks of it.
Jordan Esprit that's gone off. So straight swap, striker wide. Now down the right hand side, chance for Ipswich to play the ball into the box. It's cleared away by Anthony Cheshire, and there were plenty of blue shirts running into the box. Edwards and Ladapo and Vincent Young were all there, but Cheshire did enough to get it clear. Stays 1-0 to Ipswich.
Yeah, didn't really know too much about it, did he? Just try to get any sort of contact on it. If they had a sort of an attacking mid coming onto the edge of the box there, Ipswich, they would have had a simple tap in. As it is, they're just breaking through at will now.
So the ball's thrown in back to Cameron Burgess. Keogh. Platt comes to close him down, but it's worked back by Keogh again. He'll play it back to his goalkeeper Hladky. Mikael Platt 22 years of age. Got a couple of goals in 4 FA Cup appearances this season. Was at QPR early in his career, but never made an appearance for the Hoops. And 3 of his 4 goals this season have come away from the SB Stadium. One here would do very nicely right now from Platt. But here come Ipswich Town with Kyle Edwards trying to work the ball into the feet of Cameron Humphreys. Half cleared by Bracknell, but only as far as the halfway line. Keogh, all his experience being brought to bear, I'm sure, for these last 20 minutes or so at 36 years young.
Well, it's a big goal, that, isn't it? Because suddenly the pressure's off a little bit. You know, it's had an awful lot of possession first half and a couple of chances, but this second half, you know, it's really told superior fitness, speed and pace, and you can just see at times Jack Dean just switching off. A little few tired bodies out there, tired minds as well for Bracknell.
Cleared downfield by Sladkey up to the halfway line. Ladapo looked like he was barged over by George Knight, but the referee says play on. Back it goes to the halfway line, and Ipswich now just content to keep possession. Once again, Sladkey has the ball rolled back to him, the Ipswich keeper, by Richard Keogh. Ball up to halfway. Bayliss with a good strong header. Knight brings it down. Was he then fouled by Moore? Oh, legitimate challenge, says Charles Breakspear. But the ball's won back by Bracknell Town. What have the non-league side got left in these last, 20 minutes or so? Down went Platt, 30 yards out. Wanted a free kick, looked imploringly at the referee, who said play on.
I think it's a good challenge there from Burgess, just on his blind side.
Ball's rolled back to Fladkey, who had to just control it because the wind was threatening to take it in all sorts of different directions for a moment, but the Ipswich keeper dealt with it well. And Keogh just gets his head up at the edge of his own penalty area, plays a square ball across to Burgess. Burgess gets his head up. Ladapo makes a run towards the ball and collects it now just over halfway, but Cheshire wriggles it back for Bracknell Town. Out to the right-hand side. Ipswich have it back on their left, though. Cheshire steps in front of Ladapo. Tries to thread it through. Abisogan trying to give chase down the right-hand side now. Tries to leapfrog a challenge. Got away from Burgess. The ball went out of play. And there is going to be another change. It's going to be a double change, I think, for Ipswich Town. Looking to see who's coming off. And it looks like a double change for Ipswich Town, and Caden Jackson is coming off and Wes Burns is coming on to replace him, and Connor Chaplin is also going to be introduced, and he's going to come on for Dominic Ball. So a double change for the Tractor Boys, and Wes Burns, who, as I mentioned earlier, hoping to be in Rob Page's thoughts when he announces his Wales squad in the week. David Connolly,
yeah,
gets a few minutes.
Terrific
To impress. And
top scorer last season, Wes was.
Yes, he was. He was.
We showed you maybe that Ipswich, did need a striker, but nonetheless he had a superb season last season. He's
13,
a flyer.
yeah, 13. Got Player of the Season awards and all sorts last season. Wes Burns. He's got 3 goals this season, all at Portman Road, and he's on in the right wing back position, and he is rapid, and he'll give he'll give Ethan Burden a bit of extra burden for these last 20 minutes or so down the Ipswich right, the Bracknell left. Goal kick for Ipswich. They've taken it short to Keogh. Away to our far right-hand side at the south end of the ground. Keogh up to the halfway line again. Ladapo holds it up well. Slides it out to the left-hand side for Edwards. Vincent Young's made a run down the left-hand side, but Edwards has kept hold of it. Runs infield, but Cheshire, who's done well tonight at centre-half for Bracknell, slides in and wins it back again.
He has.
Lodge sends it down the right-hand side, but Ipswich have won it back again. Up to the halfway line, Humphreys wriggles away from a couple of challenges. Good feet from Cameron Humphreys, and finds Sam Morsey. Donassian. Burns now gets his first touch down the right-hand side. Just checks his run for a moment. Thought about taking on Burden, but instead he's tucked it back 5 or 10 yards and goes again down the right-hand side of the area. Bracknell get it half clear. Good sliding challenge to keep it away from Sam Morsey, but the attempted ball over the top to get either Platt or Abisogan away, easily repelled by Ipswich. 1-0 the score, remember. Ipswich leading through that own goal midway through the half from Daniel Bayliss, turning in Kane Vincent Young's cross from the byline left-hand side.
Well, I mean, Connor Chaplin was warming up for what felt like the whole time.
Oh, here's Vincent Young again. down the left-hand side of the box. Strong ball to the far post and tucked in by Freddie Ladapo for 2-0, and that will see Ipswich through comfortably to round 2 of the FA Cup and a home tie against Buxton. Vincent Young again the creator, as he was with the first, just clipped it to the far post, and a simple tap-in for Freddie Ladapo. Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 2.
Another attack down this left-hand side. You know, Vincent Young's been superb, hasn't he? Raiding down the left. Lovely little cut-back cross. Just in around the 6-yard box. There's Ladapo, an easy little side foot tap-in. And certainly, look, the fitness, the quality is all telling now. Put so much work into this. A couple of Bracknell players on their haunches, you know, weary legs now. That first 45, they're outstanding, but the quality is showing, the physicality, athleticism as well.
Yes, finally Ipswich go through the gears and get themselves 2 clear, and for Freddie Ladapo, that's now 4 goals in his last 3 appearances. Played for 9 non-league clubs in his time, Freddie Ladapo. 17 clubs in all in his career, and he's not hit 30 yet. He does appear to be a little nomadic in terms of where he spends his time. Plymouth and Rotherham most recently before Ipswich. But it's his goal, his 8th of the season in all competitions, that surely sees Ipswich through, with round about a quarter of an hour to go on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. And Bracknell in possession with Lodge, goes back to his keeper, and Ecott, who could do nothing about either goal really. Vincent Young the provider on both occasions. Platt now attacking the Ipswich penalty area, trying to drive into the box, goes down, wants a free kick, and again referee Charles Breakspear says nothing doing. 2-0 to Ipswich Town. Just
the movement, wasn't it, from Vincent Young? Came short, went in behind, and you know, we spoke about Jack Dean before a couple of times, just switched off maybe. And
well, now a chance for Humphreys to get in behind as the ball's clipped over the top by Chaplin. Cleared away by Bracknell. Dean will get to it first and hits it against Edwards. Edwards will keep it in play left-hand side. Gets into the area, rolls it back for Humphreys, who thought about a shot at the left-hand corner of the box. Now he lays it off to Vincent Young. Vincent Young back for Humphreys into the centre of the Bracknell half, and Morsey. Humphreys again up to the edge of the area. Oh, lovely turn, Chaplin plays in Vincent Young. Vincent Young draws the keeper and puts it in the net, but the flag's got up to deny Ipswich a third. It was lovely footwork from Kane Vincent Young, but he hadn't seen the flag that went up for his offside decision, and it's a free kick. And Gary Abisogon's got a severe bout of cramp right in front of us. He's taken his left boot off and needs a bit of treatment from the physios. It's 2-0 to Ipswich Town here on Talksport 2, and we're into the last 14 minutes.
Well, no surprise they got in again down their left-hand side, Ipswich. Vincent Young, you know, Connor Chaplin mentioned about him warming up. He's itching to get on. He's come on. He's looked really bright. Lovely little smart turn and slipped it through to Vincent Young. Good composure. He faked across, sat the goalkeeper down, then took it past him and just rolled it into the net. But the offside flag went up. I mean, that would have been very, very close. I think it was a right call, but it was right across in front of us. It would have been very, very tight.
Good performance from Kane Vincent Young tonight, David.
Absolutely.
Over 50 appearances. He came from Colchester United, 2 or 3 years ago. Hasn't scored since September 2019, so he must have thought his duck was being broken there, but denied by the offside flag. Abisogan still receiving treatment. A reminder that we have the Autumn Series International Rugby continuing on Talksport 2. Eddie Jones will be on Talksport Breakfast tomorrow with Laura and Ali and Ray Parler, discussing that narrow defeat that England suffered to Argentina at the weekend. And then on Saturday from noon on Talksport 2, 4 live Autumn Series games in a row. Ireland, who beat South Africa at the weekend against Fiji, then England against Japan from Twickenham at 3. From 5:15 we're off to the Principality. Wales take on Argentina, and then France against South Africa from 7:30. That's in Marseille. So 4 Autumn Series internationals, live rugby union for 10 hours on Talksport 2 Saturday afternoon.
Well, Gabby Abisogo looks like that's his last action of the game, and he put an awful lot of work in. He really did down this right-hand side. Got forward as much as he could. He was a threat. Obviously defended really well. He was outstanding in, I think, just the work rate really there. It's been a little bit too much for him.
So on to replace him, Daryl Sanders is on to replace him.
I think it was a touch of cramp, as you say, severe cramp.
And there's going to be a change as well for Ipswich Town, but that might wait until after this free kick's taken for the original offside decision. No, in fact, they are going to make a change. They are going to bring off Sam Morsey, and Panucci Camera is going to get a run out for Ipswich Town this evening for the Egyptian Sam Morsey. Camera cost $500,000 from Plymouth Argyle, played in non-league with Dulwich Hamlets, just back from a groin injury that he picked up pre-season. So Camera on for Morsey for these last 10 minutes or so on Talksport 2. Ipswich 2-0 up, but here's Cameron English trying an effort from fully 40 yards out for Bracknell Town, but it dribbles well wide of the goalkeeper's left-hand post. And it's a goal kick to Ipswich, and they can already maybe start thinking of the trip that Buxton Town will be making to Portman Road in round 3. We were with Buxton Town in the FA Cup last year when they got knocked out by I think it was Rotherham United. Cole the Goal Stockton was the man in form. Morecambe, sorry, should I say, not Rotherham, Morecambe, on a filthy day of weather at the Silverland Stadium. Now, ball clipped in field, but it won't make its way to Kyle Edwards. Looks like he wrestled Sanders to the ground. Daryl Sanders just on for Bracknell Town. Another player, much like Jordan Asprey, who joined from the Bedfont Sports Club, already scored 5 goals, including a hat-trick against Windsor. Scored a hatful of goals for Bedfont Sports before his move. And he takes a free kick short to Ashley Lodge. Going to try and work it in from the right-hand side. Lodge, a deep ball to the far post. Heads go up, and it's headed behind by Burns for a Bracknell Town corner. So maybe they're not done yet, the Robins. They've got a corner at the south stand end. It's 0-2, Ipswich in control of this FA Cup tie.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, from Bracknell, took the free kick short, worked it quickly, and then, Ashley Lodge broke his way, got close to the box, good ball towards the back post, and they've been bright on these sorts of situations. I think corners, free kicks, they've been nice and bright. They've tried different ideas, obviously, on the training ground, trying to impress, and they've looked pretty good on these.
Well, Daryl Sanders is going to take the corner kick. There's a second ball on the pitch that they're just getting rid of to this near side before Sanders can take the corner kick.
It's on short as well. If he gets
Lodge is there for a short corner. He's driven it in along the deck. Chaplin will clear away only as far as Lodge at the left-hand corner of the Ipswich area. Drifts out to that left wing. Humphreys stays with him, but Lodge has held on to the ball quite well. Tries to tuck the ball in field, but Ipswich have won it back. It's floating up to the halfway line, and Edwards brings it down really well in the centre circle. He's got Ladapo making a run ahead of him, and also down the left-hand side, Wes Burns he's played in. Wes Burns unselfishly tucks it across, and Panucci Camera has put it into the back of the net, only just on as a substitute. And Ipswich Town have 3 at the SB, and Bracknell Town have been knocked out, and Ipswich have gone through the gears in this final quarter of the game to see off their non-league opponents. Panucci Camera, only just on, gets the goal that seals safe passage through to round 2. Bracknell 0, Ipswich 3.
Well, great goal, because I think it's Humphreys actually deep in his own corner who switches the play. A brilliant diagonal up top, and eventually Wes Burns just puts it on a plate for Panucci Camera. He could have gone for goal himself again down this left-hand side. Instead, squares it across the box for Camera with a simple tap-in. Great goal. I mean, you've got to say, Humphreys has been superb, hasn't he, the youngster?
Really enjoyed watching him again, Cameron Humphreys. It's a name you should listen out for, I think. I've got a funny feeling that Kieran McKenna is going to give him more and more first-team opportunities in league football as the season progresses. Like I mentioned, he scored his first league goal a couple of matches ago in League One against Port Vale. And it looks like there's a change being readied. And looks like George Knight is coming off for Bracknell Town, and Ben Cook is coming on to replace him. Joined in May from Basingstoke. Managed to score 1 goal against Harrow Borough in the FA Cup run that took them to this point. But let's not forget, with 7 minutes or so to play, Ipswich 3-0 up here, David Connolly. Bracknell with the TV cameras here and a full house. I think financially they will have done themselves more than a good service out of this cup tie that they can take forward to their league campaign.
Oh yeah, and look, obviously 100 places between them. They would have known the challenge that they were going to face here. you know, they did really well. First 45, they did really well to restrict Ipswich, but you just knew the longer the game went on, the energy expended, that quality and physicality, athleticism was gonna tell.
Panuccia Camera gives it back to Donasian, deep inside his own half, to the right of his own penalty area. And once again, very calmly done by Cameron Humphreys. Looking for Wes Burns, tries to juggle with the ball with the top of his head towards the halfway line, but Bracknell win it back. It's Platt, came on as a second half substitute, but he's surrounded by blue shirts who win it back. And Wes Burns, along with the help of a teammate, guides it back to Cladkey. Cameron Humphreys to the left of the area, fires it up to the halfway line, looking for Ladapo, but he couldn't control that. And then it's just thumped downfield by Bayliss. But that's going to be held on to by Cladkey. And it stays Bracknell 0, Ipswich 3. And we've got 6 minutes to go of the 90 here on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. Switches to Carabao Cup. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday across the Talksport network. We've got 4 live commentaries for you, plus around the grounds on Tuesday and on Talksport. Choice of commentaries on Wednesday night across the network. Or what a goal kick from Flackey to pick out Wes Burns, who's got it right hand corner of the Bracknell penalty area, but that's good defending by Burden. Stuck to his task well when Burns was threatening just to wriggle his way into the penalty area and try and get a fourth for Ipswich.
I just wonder, he could have just put that ball in. Ladapo was waiting.
Well, they've won it back, and it's Camera looking to the edge of the area, and it's Chaplin who finds Kyle Edwards. Again, Vincent Young making the run ahead of him. Kyle Edwards goes alone, tries a shot. It's blocked by his own player, Chaplin, I think, and cleared away by Bracknell up to halfway, but Cameron Burgess brings the ball down coolly and calmly, rolls the ball forward. Kyle Edwards with a good first touch, and Vincent Young waiting for it on this near side. Edwards elects to go back to halfway, and Cameron Burgess, he's been ever willing, Kane, Vincent Young. He knows as soon as Kyle Edwards gets on the ball, he's on the move.
Yeah. I mean, they've worked really well down this side, haven't they? Left-hand side for Ipswich, it's been excellent tonight.
And now Cameron English fouls Camera on the halfway line. 5 minutes to go. Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 3 on Talksport 2 in the FA Cup. It took Ipswich a while to get going, but get going they did, with the own goal from Bayliss on 66 minutes, Ladapo on 73 and Camera on 81. And here is Cameron Burgess finding Vincent Young, tucked back to Burgess on halfway. A couple of Bracknell players come to close him down. He's assisted by Humphreys. Always wants the ball, Cameron Humphreys, always looking for space, and he wants it down the left channel. Can't get it because it's well intercepted by Jack Dean, and away comes Platt for Bracknell. Finds Cameron English, approaching the left-hand corner of the penalty area, trying to go on the outside of Chaplin and Donasian, having to go out to the corner flag left-hand side, and in the end he wins a corner kick off Ipswich Town. Chance for Bracknell to get themselves a consolation here, but not before there's another change for Ipswich Town, and Freddie Ladapo is coming off. Looking to see who's coming on to replace him. Slightly, again, obscured from our line of sight. And the players just making their change, and it's Boabo who's coming on for Ipswich, one of the youngsters from the academy. And also another change being ready. Oh, Donasian's coming off as well. That's the other change. Agbaje is coming on as well, another who I saw in the Papa John's trophy for Ipswich Town, coming on wearing number 39 for the Tractor Boys. But a corner kick for Bracknell Town, and again it's a packed 6-yard box, really trying to crowd the keeper. In it comes to the near post, and Fladkey punches clear, two-fisted at his near post, and the ball goes out of play for a Bracknell throw on the left-hand side. 3-0 to Ipswich.
Dangerous ball in, wasn't it? I mean, they do say don't make changes at corners, certainly when you're defending them, but I guess 3-0 up, last couple of minutes. Ipswich have the luxury to do that.
Ball's back on halfway with Ethan Burden, the left back, tries to clip it out to the right-hand side. And a chance for Ipswich to clear, and it's brought away by Kane Vincent Young, who's had an excellent game down the left-hand side. Buabo's gone ahead of him. Ball down the right-hand side, trying to pick out Connor Chaplin, but the ball just gets away from him and goes over the dead ball line for a throw-in, a goal kick rather, should I say, to Bracknell Town. As time ticks away, actually a minute and a half of normal time to go on Talksport 2.
Well, it's another sign of progress, I guess, if you're Kieran McKenna, right? You know, they haven't needed a replay, and obviously their history in the FA Cup is not particularly great in terms of getting results. They want to stay in the competition, be successful. You know, they've overcome physical sides this season, maybe struggled with them last season, been good on set play. So I guess if you're McKenna, if you're Ipswich fans, you're thinking, right, every hurdle that's thrown in front of us at the minute, you know, we are getting over them. And it certainly looks like it's going to be a really good season for an Ipswich Town fan. And I think they'd love a cup run. Well, I think they're due one, right? There must be.
Well, as I say, they haven't got past the second round since they got relegated. And their best run since they won the thing back in 79 was the semi-final in 1981. Other than that, they've never really got deep into the FA Cup tournament. But they do have a chance to get deep into this tournament. They've got Buxton at home in the next round. Now they've won this, they can easily get themselves through to the third round proper, and then see who they get when the Premier League and the Championship boys arrive. But since relegation, they've not got to that stage. Ball's up to Connor Chaplin, just shy of the centre circle. Now it's sent up to the halfway line for Wes Burns, and we wish him well that he does actually get into Rob Page's Wales squad when that's announced on Thursday. Although I'm sure Ipswich fans won't want to see Wes Burns travelling halfway around the world when they need as many squad players as they can get whilst the League One campaign continues during the World Cup. Panucci Camera lays it off down the left-hand side. Buabo stayed through the centre. Ball's back with Panucci Camera again. And we're in added time now here at the SB Stadium. And Ipswich are 3-0 up, having been held at half-time. Bracknell Town has plenty of questions. One effort on target in the second half, comfortably dealt with by Hladky. And then Ipswich, the class and quality told in the end, David Connolly.
Absolutely, yep. I mean, you just worn Bracknell down. You've got to say, I think they've worked really, really hard all over the pitch, especially in the middle of the park. Expended a lot of energy. Here they go again, pressing the ball.
Strong up to halfway line, lays the ball off, sends it down the left-hand side. Vincent Young once again on the scene for Ipswich Town, into the box, trying to make room for a shot. Checks back onto his left foot. It's defended well in the end and put out a play for a throw on this near side. But more good industry from Kane Vincent Young down the Ipswich Town left. They lead 3-0.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, hasn't he? Always willing to run down this left hand. He could have maybe crossed that. Slightly greedy, but you can understand why.
Dean hits the ball against Buabo, and he goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, he just raised his arm, Vincent Young, to Connor Chaplin, because Connor was free in the box.
So a goal kick for Michael Ecott, who made some good saves to keep the scores level for as long as Bracknell did. Remember, it was over an hour before their goal was finally breached. And he drives the ball right-footed down the centre of the field. Up go the heads. Keel looked like he was barged out of the way. He was indeed by Sanders. And that's a free kick to the Tractor Boys midway point of their own half. And Ipswich will go on to play Cheltenham on Saturday at Portman Road before a trip to Exeter. They're coming forward again up to the edge of the area, but cross comes Dean to keep it away from Panucci Camera. He's got a taste for it now. He's got one, he wants another.
Well, it's nearly the same two players there. Wes Burns with a little cut back to Camera.
Out to the right-hand side. It's a throw-in for Ipswich Town in stoppage time at the end of this cup tie on Talksport 2. It's thrown in looking for Buabo. He's down the right-hand side of the box. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. He thought he turned it away, but it's actually a goal kick to Bracknell Town, who will get back to life in the Southern League Premier Central. Went into the weekend in 11th place. 5 points off the playoffs at their first ever season at that level. See how they can react to that and how much confidence having held a League One side for over an hour will give them going back into their league programme.
Yeah, and a lot of these players, well, that is it.
That is indeed the full-time whistle. And Ipswich Town had a nervy hour or so in Berkshire, but in the end, the class and quality of Ipswich Town told. An own goal from Bayliss just after the 65-minute mark set Ipswich Town on their way. After that, Freddie Ladapo got his goal. That's 4 in 3 for the Ipswich number 9 to make it 2-0 on 73. And Panucci Camera, a recent arrival in the summer for £500,000, notched with 7 minutes to go as Bracknell visibly tired against their more experienced League One counterparts. So Buxton will travel to Portman Road in round 2 of the FA Cup. In the end, fairly straightforward for Kieran McKenna in Ipswich Town, but Bracknell will be delighted with the way they went about their business, particularly in the first half, that they kept goalless. But the final score at the SB Stadium, Bracknell Town 0, Ipswich Town 3.
Dan, thank you. Managed 4 wins, the Robins, to make it to the first round proper of the FA Cup for only the second time in their 126-year history. This is where Bracknell Town's journey ends, though, in this great competition. Didn't they do well for about an hour, certainly, in Berkshire tonight? Ipswich Town, as Dan rightly said, will be facing non-league side Buxton in the second round of the competition later this month. The defence finally breached. We had to wait, 25 minutes from time, Dave Connolly. Vincent Young breaking down the left and Bayliss scoring through his own net. You feel, though, that the Bracknell captain had to do something, because there was a couple of blue shirts in behind him that surely would have scored if Bayliss didn't get there first.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, look, they were, I thought, brilliant, Bracknell, in that first 45, defended manfully, really diligent, expended an awful lot of energy. And we touched on it so often, at the break, during the game, when will they fatigue? When will they tire physically, mentally? And it just ground them down. All that possession, all that passing and lateral shifting, so tiring.
Yeah.
And especially with Vincent Young raiding down the left-hand side. I mean, first 45, they're a real threat, Ipswich's, left-hand side, and nothing changed in the second half. The flow of attacks, they just couldn't stop on Bracknell, and in the end, you could say, I thought they did really, really well, Bracknell, and just to keep it probably at 3-0, I think was a great effort from them.
He was at it all evening long, wasn't he, Kane Vincent Young? Surely impressing Kieran McKenna more than anyone else tonight at the SB Stadium. Freddie Ladapo found by Vincent Young for the second goal for Ipswich, and Ladapo really couldn't make any mistake, could he? No, look, he just bundled it in from a couple of yards out. Vincent Young with the hard work, but that move actually started with a brilliant diagonal from the youngster Cameron Humphreys. I thought was outstanding. I mean, Dance's seen him before, but he's got a lovely left foot, really cultured, clever. He also crafted that chance for Ladapo. I think he was just offside, but the goalkeeper saved it anyway. But it was a beautiful little slip pass. And games like tonight are for players like Humphreys, to go and get another 90 minutes under your belt. It's another first team start. And I thought the youngster was excellent. I know Ladapo got the goal, Vincent Young with the assist, but that move started with a brilliant 60-70 yard pass from Humphreys. It helps when Kieran McKenna can go to his bench, introduce players like Wes Burns, likely maybe going to Qatar with Wales, feeding Panucci Camera, another player, off the bench, second half, late on for the Tractor Boys tonight. Yeah, I mean, Wes Burns was brilliant, just puts it on a plate for Panucci. He could have gone for goal himself. Again, they get down this left-hand side for Ipswich, and great composure, awareness just to slide it across the box, and Camera with a lovely little tap-in, easy tap-in. And I think, look, got the 3 goals there. Maybe if it wasn't for the goalkeeper, could have had, I don't know, Dance, what do you think, 6 or 7 maybe?
Maybe. I mean, Ecott, it could have been 5 or 6. Ecott played extremely well, particularly in the first half. Some good saves, the save from Ladapo, the save from Vincent Young. That should give them good heart, in fairness, Dan, going back to their first ever season at Southern League Premier Central Division. They'll be heartened by the way they've held League One opposition for as long as they have.
I mean, the bare minimum, boys, is that you do the town proud, don't you? You compete, you battle, you cover every blade, you work hard, you run yourself numb, and that's what the Bracknell Town players have done tonight, and they have done the town proud. You can hear it. They're getting a great response.
They're just going round the behind the goal away to our left-hand side, where the most vociferous home support is, and they're just taking the acclaim, taking the applause, appreciating the support they've received. And the Ipswich fans are joining in with that as well, because there's plenty of Ipswich fans dotted around us in this commentary area we've got here, fully appreciative of the game that they got given tonight, Dan.